Hey, good morning everyone and welcome back to Wellbeing Wednesday, episode number 15.
Hi guys!
We are back after the summer.
We're back after a lovely summer, aren't we? Making memories in the sun.
And we're going off our personal pages today, so we got quite a good episode to share with you. And before we start, so make sure you subscribe to us or following us.
Please add in some comments and
Definitely.
engagement. We'd love to hear from you.
But even we'll run that real quick. Likes, comments, shares, they help, even if it's not for you. But I'm sure in this episode, you're going to get so much from someone you know may get something from this. So let's just address the most apparent thing on the video that I need a haircut. So, yeah. All right, Nina. So you've had a bit of a trauma this summer.
Yes.
Which we won't go into too much because it's on your page, but...
It's on my page. I thought I would share with everybody what happened to me, because obviously I'm in a public position.
Mm-hmm.
I'm teaching and I'm treating, and you can't really miss what's on my head.
Actually, I don't think it shows up from what I'm looking at, but yeah.
So basically, just a quick overview. I was assaulted about 4 weeks ago by a random guy who picked me up, hoisted me in the air, and then basically restricted my arms. So he kind of pushed me into a wall. I went into the wall head first at quite a force, and crashed my head onto the concrete floor. So I was hospitalised, blue lighted to hospital, and I've been diagnosed with a serious brain injury, head injury, and post concussion syndrome. So, I really wanted to talk about transcending trauma today.
It's kind of like your approach to what's happened, which isn't that long ago, is it?
No.
You just said, but.
So, what happened to me was only 4 weeks ago.
Yeah.
And I'm back at work now. I'm looking forward to a busy few weeks, which is really exciting. But I just wanted to share from my perspective and my experience, and I'm not a doctor, I'm not a GP, but what I've learned along the way to get through that trauma, so that you don't internalize it, and that you can still function in everyday life, and you can move towards healing, which is obviously a process which I'm still in. Yeah,
I think it's a process. There's no end date for healing for anything, but I think it's good that you're starting that process out.
Yeah.
It's a bit about your dark days as well.
I wanted to turn it into a positive.
Yeah.
And I wanted to not dwell on the negatives too much and think about how I could share this with people to make their traumas better. Because obviously I've had a physical trauma. You can see it on my face, but also there's a lot more to it. There's the emotional side, the spiritual side, the psychological side. And a lot of people do go through all sorts of different traumas. Yeah. So it's not just about me, it's about trauma and how it affects all of us, and how we can migrate that and how we can rise above it, and to become the best version of ourselves.
Can I just, because I think you sent a message a week ago to say, you're hoping to come in and do the video start today, and we weren't sure how, you said about the injury that happened and stuff. So I think even this week you've come real far. And also you put the brave post out yesterday on your pages about what's happened. So I think that's important to touch on for everyone else in terms of any, whether it be physical, mental trauma that they've had. There are those moments, but you've taken those steps forward for it. And I think you've taken, right now, it's like, actually, I've got control now. I think you've taken full control.
You feel like, if you feel like you're in control and you're empowered, it lifts you up, makes you feel positive. Yeah. So I realised that, obviously I've had my down days when I've looked in the mirror and haven't been able to look at myself. Yeah. There's been plenty of those days. And, the trauma from the other perspective about how you feel inside as well. Yeah. So take the aesthetic side apart and how you feel inside, that somebody could do that to you. Yeah. That somebody could intrude your space and without your consent touch your body and assault you. So you're dealing with that as well. But I just wanted to let you know, to be real about it, that of course I've had some dark days, getting through this. It's not all been roses and unicorns and rainbows. So I wanted to share how I got to where I am now, and what tools and tricks I've used to get there, and how I can actually come on camera today. Yeah. Because I only had my stitches out yesterday. Yeah. So, I think one important thing is to realise that the trauma is not part of your identity. No. So the trauma is not you. Yeah. It's something that happened to you. Yeah. So what you need to be careful about is that you don't internalise that. Yeah. So, for example, if somebody attacks you, you might feel shameful or guilty or embarrassed. Mm-hmm. And it's really a bit of a dark road if you start to internalise those feelings. Yeah. Because it will psychologically destroy you. Yeah. So you need to realise that you're not what happened to you, and it won't define you. Yeah. So you're quite separate from that.
I think that's the big word. Is it doesn't define you.
Yeah, and you're going to transcend. Well, you start to understand that that's not you. That's something that happened to you. Yeah. And you can transcend that, and you can move forward with positivity. So that's what I refuse to do. I refuse to connect with the trauma in that way. It's something that's going to be temporary. Yeah. It's something that's going to move on out of my body, and it's going to I'm going to transcend it. Yeah. It's going to go. It's going to disperse. And I realise it's a journey, and you've got to chip away at that. So, just thinking about not internalising it. It's really, really important. And, I do feel that some people may sometimes shut themselves away. Yeah. Because they've had this awful thing that's happened to them. They feel embarrassed. They may not want to talk about it. And they go inside themselves.
Do you know what? I did that when I gone through depression and stuff. Yeah. And I think it is normal.
It is normal. It's normal. And I understand it. And many a day I felt like not going out because I thought, oh God, people are going to see my head. I feel really embarrassed. I feel they're going to wonder what's happened to me. Yeah. And so then I felt like not going out. Yeah. I felt like shutting myself away. But I brought myself out of that because I knew it would be really, really bad to internalise what had happened to me. And I knew it would be really good for me to reach out to people, be open and honest about what's happened to me. Yeah. And then those people can support you as well. Yeah. The other thing is to talk about what's happened to you. So this is another way of transcending this trauma. So if you imagine the trauma sits in you after something's happened to you, when you're verbalising it and you're kind of analysing and processing verbally, you're bringing it up and through the throat chakra and out. Yeah. So like I'm sharing my story with you today and with everybody else online, I'm verbalising it. Yeah. And they say, like talking to somebody is like sharing a problem, it's like halving a problem.
I think because you, like you said, I think you start to make sense of it a bit more because it didn't make sense. Yeah.
It doesn't, it still doesn't make sense sometimes.
Anything like that, it doesn't make sense, when you're going through those things, it doesn't. Yeah. And sometimes a lot of things still don't make sense, but they make more sense than what they did. Yeah. Or it's like,
you get
a bit more peace now.
A bit more.
Yeah, definitely.
See, I don't understand why you did it to me.
Yeah.
I don't think I'll ever understand. So that's the thing that I can't get my head around. But I understand that it's okay not to have answers on that. Yeah. The most important thing is to focus on my healing. Yeah. And getting through this. The other thing that has really helped me is staying active. Yeah. So obviously when I was knocked unconscious and I've got post-concussion syndrome, which is a long-term brain injury, and I've got problems with my memory, with focusing and concentration. Yeah. And I get tired very easily. Yeah. So I have to take breaks. And that may be with me for up to a couple of years. Yeah. Or I might transcend it earlier than that. Yeah. Depending on the healing of the individual. Yeah. I feel very nauseous as well. So just feeling really, really sick. But it's all normal with the head concussion, especially a serious head injury. Yeah. So basically you've got to think about moving this trauma out of the body physically. Yeah. So I thought, okay, I feel really sore. My head is killing me. I've got severe migraines. Yeah. What am I going to do? So obviously, I can't go and hit it hard at the moment. But you know.
You said you've been yoga this morning.
Yeah, so what I started with to begin with, right at the beginning, for the first week or two, I would go for a walk. Yeah. I would just walk very gently around Pittville Park, just moving the body, transcending the energy. Yeah. Moving this trauma out, because I don't want it sitting in here. So I thought, got to keep moving out, moving the energy around the body and through the meridian, so that the trauma just transcends and migrates, or another layer of it goes. Yeah. And then I progressed to getting back on my mat, just very gradually. Yeah. But obviously there was a lot of pressure on my head. Yeah. So I found it quite hard to get into downward dog for too long. Yeah. Because I'm hanging upside down. Yeah, yeah. Technically that's an inversion. Yeah. But the more I kind of gradually ease myself into it.
That's the baby steps, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah. The more I could do. And without my head hurting and feeling dizzy and doddery, because your balance is also compromised. Yeah, I bet. So now I'm in a position where I can do a full yoga class. I'm feeling strong again, and I also understand that the more exercise I do, whether it's walking, cycling, swimming, I can't do at the moment. Yeah. But obviously, as soon as I can get back into martial arts, I'm there. Yeah. You know, the more moving of the body. Yeah. Moving of the body is the faster I can transcend. Yeah.
Are you reading?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So I think that's another important one.
Definitely. So transcending the energy and transcending the trauma in so many different ways. So I'm using movement and physical exercise. So yoga, walking. Obviously, when I can get back into kickboxing, I'll be there transcending that trauma. The other way is that I'm using a lot of Reiki.
If only you knew a Reiki master could help you.
I do. So what I've been doing is I've been doing a lot of self-healing. Yeah. And just a lot of crown chakra healing, because this is where the trauma was, around my crown chakra. And obviously I wanted to talk about the third eye, because where I've been struck is kind of
right there, isn't it?
Really, really uncanny. So a lot of people were saying to me, "Oh, Nina, you look like you've got bindi. You know, you look like you've been to India and you've got bindi." And I believe that it's just another layer of my spiritual awakening. And in fact, where I've been hit is absolutely spot on with the third eye.
It is, yeah.
And I looked into it and did a bit of research on being hit on the third eye and what it can do to somebody. And in fact, it can open up another layer of spiritual consciousness. Yeah. So you can actually go a bit further in your spiritual journey. I've been having a lot of vivid dreams, and it can really catapult your psychic abilities and so on and so on. Yeah. So it's a really, really interesting topic, which I'm still looking into. Yeah.
So sorry to interrupt you, Nina. So you basically, this has happened, and you're not dwelling on it as too much, because I'm sure it's going to pop in, but you're looking at, like, right, this is what I have now. And it kind of goes back to what we said before. If we're living in the past, we're depressed. If we're in the future, we're feeling like anxious. So you've harnessed, that really, I guess. And it's like you said, it's still those babies. It's just training. You're just retraining yourself, I guess.
I am, and I'm pushing the trauma out. I'm refusing to let it hibernate in my body. So we all go through trauma, and I know a lot of people that come into my treatment room, they have trauma that's been in them for years. Yeah. And they kind of stuff it down.
We all got it. Some way, mentally, definitely. Physically, whatever.
Yeah, I agree, totally. I think so we can't get through this life unscathed. No. So we've all got some degree of trauma kind of like tucked away. And what I found is that sometimes when I'm using Reiki, I see clients are shaking. Yeah. And you can see them releasing this trauma, and the body starts to shake. Yeah. So it's all another form of release. Yeah. And I found that a lot of self-healing has helped me, especially get rid of my headaches, getting rid of the trauma, but also Reiki facilitates faster physical healing. So if you've got a broken bone or an ankle, or you physically hurt your body, Reiki facilitates healing probably by up to 10 times faster than it normally would. Yeah. So I'm really lucky to have that gift at my disposal. Yeah. And to lift me emotionally as well. So if I'm having a bad day and I feel the trauma's trying to sit, I go back a layer on the trauma. No, not listening to that. So I start my meditations, I'll do some Reiki release trauma work. I'll do some yoga. I'll reach out to friends. I'll take a walk. Do lots of positive things. To kind of say, no, I'm not going to let this beat me.
So do you think with, like, prior to what's happened, and you know, with things like your meditation, your Reiki, yoga, even the fitness, kickboxing, running, do you feel that as, if you didn't have those things, what do you think the difference may have been for you?
Ooh, I think I definitely would have been on antidepressants.
Yeah.
Definitely, because it's anchored me and shown me that this is just a little blip in my life.
I think all those things give us an internal strength that we don't when life is normal and great. You won't maybe you don't appreciate it as much. Like my martial arts, oh my gosh! Without that, I don't know what would have happened for me. I'm really not so sure where my mind might have gone. In the end, eventually.
I can really relate to that.
Yeah.
I just feel like if I hadn't had that, I can understand why people would turn to antidepressants to lift them, and I'm not judging them for doing that. It's just something that I choose not to do.
It's your choice, yeah.
And I choose to look to other ways to transcend. You know, and sometimes people do need antidepressants, and that's their choice, and there's no judgment there. You know, sometimes people don't have the skills, or they can't reach out in that way.
Yeah.
So they do need that support from their doctors or their GPs. You know, it's a personal decision, an individual decision, and we shouldn't judge anybody. But I just wanted to share what I've done to try and help others, and to make this into a positive thing. Yeah. Because I don't want it to be a black cloud in my story. No. I want it to be a positive thing. I want to be able to share my story so that others who are in a similar situation, or maybe they've buried their trauma away, they have some ideas and suggestions that can help them potentially release that trauma and get rid of it. Yeah. And in fact, I just thought today that it'd be really, really cool to run Transcending Trauma yoga class. Do you
know what? I'm glad you brought that, because I was just going to say we better transition into that bit, actually. So, excellent. So, you mentioned it just before we went live.
So, it's going to be in a couple of weeks on Sunday at Fleur, and it's going to be a hot yoga session. And I'm going to do the session specifically for people that have encountered trauma in their lives. So it might be physical, mental, emotional, or spiritual. Right.
And does it matter what stage they're at? Because obviously you're at an early stage.
Yeah,
so
really, really good question. So it doesn't matter what stage you're at. You might have had the trauma 10, 15, 20 years ago. Yeah. You might have had the trauma, 2 weeks ago. As long as you feel fit and able to attend a yoga class, then that's absolutely fine. It can't do any harm. I'll be using a mixture of yoga. It's heated. Yeah. Beginners can come, absolute beginners. It's going to be more of a kind of like soft, nurturing class than a fitness orientated class, and more of a class that's focused on releasing that baggage, and really making space for the new, the new version of you. So you can you're not weighed down by it.
Well, do you remember when we did the Wellbeing Fest, and I can't remember the lady's name, and I remember talking to her.
Is it Antonia?
Well, she'd had a back injury, I think.
Oh, okay.
But she's in the class, but she did the yoga. She had to lie down for a lot of it, but she was there taking parts.
Melanie.
Yes. Yeah.
Hi, Mel. We're just talking about your mother.
So, like in that instance, if that's all you had to do, then you're there. But I guess it would be quite good to be around people that would understand.
Yeah, definitely. And
that's like the worst.
Yeah, it's not going to challenge you too much physically. It's not going to be a beasting.
No.
It's going to be a really gentle, nurturing class. A lot about the breath, a lot about soft and gentle movements. Yeah. There will be heat, because I want everybody to sweat. I want them to release any toxins associated with trauma. It will challenge you, but it's not going to be something that kind of feels so incredibly hard. It's going to be more like a big cloak around you, and kind of more of a nurturing hug type of a class.
Brilliant. So what date, have you got a date for it?
I haven't got a date for it yet. I know it's going to be in a couple of weeks. It just came into my mind before we started filming. I've okayed it at Ella and Fleur as well, so there's space. I'm going to probably put it online a bit later today.
Yeah.
So
if you're interested, comment on
comment below. The details, just drop us a comment below. I'll add in the details of the yoga class. Anybody's welcome. Yeah. Beginners, advanced people, because on the physical side it doesn't really matter. This is more of a kind of an emotional focus class, a class that's focused at helping you release and just let go of those traumas. So I mean, trauma comes in so many different forms, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does.
It might be grief.
Yeah.
It might be the loss of a loved one. You might be leaving a toxic relationship. Mm-hmm. You might have had a car crash. Somebody may have done something to you against your will. There's so many different traumas out there. You may have lost a child. Yeah. You may have lost a pet. There's so many things that we go through, and life's not easy. So, hopefully this will help a few people out there.
Cool, brilliant. So watch this space.
Yeah, watch this space.
Well, I think that's our longest Wellbeing Wednesday.
But I had a lot to say.
No, it was really good. So thank you guys for watching. I'll try and get this uploaded to my YouTube, and we're on both now, so you can share away and comment below. It does help if it's something that doesn't resonate with you, then it will with someone else. All these things do. And we ask for likes and follows is so it can go out. It just puts it out there for other people, basically. All right.
Yeah, absolutely. It's so good to be back, guys, and we're going to be back next week.
Next week, yeah. So it's back on our regular slot, around about, I guess, 11 a.m.
Yeah, yoga first.
Yoga for you first, yeah. All right. Thank you, guys. So we'll see you next week. So peace and love. Bye-bye.
Peace, guys.